So, self-care. Yeah, sounds a bit obvious, isn't it, about how to take care of ourselves. All right, but what does that look like? And this is the point. What does self-care look like to you? Now, mental health is individual. We're all wonderful, unique individuals, and because of that, and because mental health is individual, then actually what self-care is very deeply personal and individual to us all, as individuals. So trying to copy someone else's self-care regime, if you like, simply won't work. Certain elements, areas of it might, but as a whole, you really need to identify what works for you specifically. And then you can break it down even more and go, how do you take care of yourself within certain situations? You can really focus in and be very specific. So for example, when I begin getting panic attacks, I know what are tools and techniques work specifically for me to be able to calm myself down and to minimize the feelings of anxiety, minimize the symptoms that I gain through having a panic attack, and will ultimately prevent me going from hospital, because it's happened on 2 occasions now. So it's really important for me as an individual to be able to understand specifically how I can manage, how I can identify that a panic attack is about to happen, or my anxieties are building up, and as I'm getting pains on my chest, as I'm starting to sweat more, as I'm feeling more and more anxious, I know that if this continues on, I'm going to have a panic attack and it's going to be pretty severe. So I've learnt that, I've identified that, and so I know now at what level I can just suck it up and carry on. So presenting can be a big one. Talking to a camera and no faces behind it has been extremely weird and difficult for me, and sometimes I still struggle with that, which is why you kind of get me going and quite a lot. So that's a new word for me now. So I've been using that. So how often, at what point can I continue facing my fear and not give in to it? And at what point do I need to go, actually, I need to stop now. I need to do something, because otherwise, if I don't, then this is going to get out of control, and the worst case scenario is going to happen, which is ultimately for me, I'm going to end up in hospital. And hospitals are busy enough at the moment without ambulance coming out to get me or whatever, because I'm having a panic attack. So it's very much on me as an individual, and so that is really, really important. And taking ownership, accepting responsibility, and taking ownership of our own well-being, that is totally on us as individuals now. And I was saying this prior, pre-COVID. And I'm absolutely banging the drum now, even more, stating that we really, really have to take responsibility, accept responsibility, and take ownership of our own well-being as a whole, physically and mentally, but definitely within mental health. It's the only way that we're going to prevent an all-out mental health crisis from happening in this country, because it's like a tsunami wave. It's growing momentum, and the wave's getting bigger and bigger. And if we don't start doing something about it, and if the government don't start getting involved and start funding local community support groups and organisations to really get in at community level to support these individuals, then I dread to think where we're going to be at by the end of the year and going into 2021. So it begins with you. That's what I'm ultimately saying. It begins with you. It begins with me. It begins with all of us as individuals to identify our own well-being and what we need to do, because it is on us. It's our well-being. We should be bloody taking care of it. So within self-care, identifying what stresses you have, or as a whole, and by the word stresses, I mean what negative things have you got going on, or what negative thoughts have you got going on? Is do you have to take the dog to the vets? Is the car broken? Is the washing machine broken down? Does your partner snore? Are you worried about your house, your job, money? All these kind of things, yeah, they're called stressors. So, and we all have containers, and some people have huge containers like this, which stressors go into, and all these stressors build up, but it takes a long time for the container to fill up because it's so big. And then other people have itty bitty tiny containers, and stressors go into there, and it very quickly overflows because it's so small. All right, and you can probably relate and identify with people like that within your life, socially, within work times. The smallest thing seems to set them off. It's called emotional snapping. Whereas other people are like horizontal, water off a duck's back. Yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's all right. And that's because we've got different size containers. It comes down to resiliency. And it's all things that we can do something about. We can change this. We can change our mindsets. We can change how we view life. We can change how we view situations. We can prevent ourselves from viewing everything in such a negative way, and have a baseline of positivity. How awesome would that be? And that's not dismissing the fact that crap happens in life, because it does, However, it's having a baseline of positivity, of a positive outlook in life, and when the brown stuff does hit the fan, that actually we have a certain amount of tools, techniques and coping strategies and things like that already in place, so that we can manage it when we have those low days, or as I say, when the demons of darkness come round to visit us. Now, when we're looking at our stresses, what we want to be looking at is, will we manage them? How will we manage them? And when will we manage them? Okay, so will, how, when. Really important things, because some people understand all the problems they've got in their life, but they never do anything about it. And if you kind of go, yeah, I'm going to sort that out, put a date to it. Tell somebody that you're going to do this by that time, because then you've got this accountability, which there's when you're held accountable for something and someone else knows you're meant to do something by a certain date, we are more driven to do it, rather than if it's just ourselves, because then we only have to lie to ourselves, and how often do you lie to yourself? Be honest, can you? So identifying will, how, when you manage the stresses, and then identifying what impact each stressor has. Does it trigger a panic attack, for example, for me? Or is there a number of stressors that build up to a panic attack? And it's then looking at each stressor in turn, and there's an exercise that we can do around this, based on looking at each stressor, taking each one in turn and going, are there any facts around this? What can I control it? If I can't control it, then what do I need to accept and drive within myself? If I can control and manage it, what do I need to do? When am I going to do about it? And how am I going to do it? All right. So, and then it's all about, what do you need to do on a day-to-day basis to take care of yourself? Do you need to go on a walk? Do you need to do some journaling in the morning and at night? Do you need to do some guided meditation? Do you need to do going for a walk, take some photographs? What does your self-care plan, or your care plan, as within the social care services, I've got a care plan for my social care, and I know what each organisation, each department is meant to be doing, and that is my care plan. So what is your care plan that you